In today's video, we're going to be talking about the effects of parental alienation on adult-child estrangement. Hi, I'm Marie Morin. I'm a therapist and a wellness coach. Let's get started. So what we need to understand about estrangement and alienation is that alienation is a different category of separation from a child than estrangement is. Estrangement is the cutting off, and there could be many factors. You're going to want to watch my video, 11 Reasons Why Adult Children Cut Ties. But alienation is a process where one parent paints the other parent during a separation or a divorce and moving forward, and it could happen even before the separation and divorce, but they paint the other parent in a very negative light. There's manipulation, some have called it child abuse, but what happens is often called brainwashing. The dynamics of alienation is this ongoing intentional manipulation to categorize the other parent as terrible, a liar, not there for you, all of these things which can be extremely traumatic on children and adult children and create such a rift in family, leaving the alienating parent to absolutely have very little recourse with their kid. Parental alienation often occurs in high conflict situations. And so it could be that even before escalated conflict occurred in a marriage, there were these manipulative, demeaning behaviors portrayed by one parent towards the other in order to skew the perception of the child. There's intense animosity between the parents, and the kids are privy to it. The adults are privy to it. And after a while, this intentional dynamic of ongoing manipulation impacts the adult child so much they begin to believe the lies, and they leave the estranged, alienated parent. Often these lies and this manipulating ongoing behavior leaves the estranged parent who has had alienated children in such a state, because there's really not much that they can say to their child. Their child already views them as this terrible, horrible person. So parental alienation is just one piece of what happens when there is estrangement. There are other contributors. Watch my video, 11 Reasons Why Adult Kids Cut Ties. You can learn some of the other estrangement contributors. There are rarely just clean cut, just one thing when kids cut ties. Sometimes there are a few. If you're watching this right now and you happen to be alienated and you're wondering what on earth is going on and how will I ever get my adult child back, unfortunately, the average length of estrangement and overall estrangement, that includes other reasons why, is 4.5 years. But we know that children that have been alienated, the possibility of them resuming a relationship with the alienated parent is a lot less than other parents that have other reasons why the adult child cut ties. And unfortunately, this has to do a lot with the brainwashing. And so I'm encouraging you, if you are an alienated parent, to get the support you need. There are many, many groups that specialize in alienated parents and estrangement. And there are also estrangement coaches that do help people that have been alienated, because the degree of grief that one feels, no matter what the circumstances, the contentious divorce, the lies of the alienated parents, the grief is so intense and real. There needs to be some level of support so that you can find relief. So let's talk about some causes of parental alienation. And we mentioned it earlier, is this high conflict separation or divorce within the family, and one parent sometimes wanting the children to know everything. We know that with families it's not a good idea for parents, and they do this sometimes to fight or air their grievances to the other person in front of their kids. But we're talking about this behavior on steroids, where there's a lot of truths that the child, the adolescent, the adult child does not need to know. And this creates a lot of stress for all parties involved, particularly the adult child and the alienated parent. Another contributor to alienation is unresolved conflicts and emotional issues. Now, none of these reasons make any of these behaviors right, but sometimes parents want to get back at the other parent, and they do this through the children. The children become a weapon to use against the parent. And another reason why is the lack of communication. Poor communication between parents can exacerbate the possibility of future parental alienation. When parents can't decide on how to co-parent, there's no resolution between them so that they can discuss things, it can be a really fertile ground for alienation. And another reason why is influence from family and friends. When someone gets divorced or leaves the partner of the family, naturally their family comes alongside them. However, if there's a lot of chatter about how terrible that other person is, the parent with the children can decide, you know what, these people are right. Let me now protect my children from this beast of a person. Because I don't want them to be influenced. And this is a horrible thing to do to children, because we know that children do much better, adults do much better in their life when they have both parents in their lives. Personality disorders can play a role in alienation. We hear a lot about narcissistic parents who turn their own children against the other parent. This alienation process by someone who considers themselves a stellar parent and the other one as lacking is really hard on the kids. Borderline personality disorder, with all this push and pull and a lot of anger and emotional dysregulation, can create a place for alienation to occur. Parents with mental health issues that are really struggling with regulation can really seek to manipulate their child or their adolescent into alienating the other parent, and it can be extremely isolating for the kid and extremely hard for the parent that is now alienated. Another reason why is lack of awareness or education on how detrimental it is to discuss things with your children that are not their business. For example, a parent that would be overly honest with their kid about what happened in the marriage, they could be unaware of how damaging it is for the child, and the kid himself can feel disgust or a lot of anger and not only be manipulated. And in this case, it's more or less the kid gets insight thinking, oh my goodness, I can't believe that parent did these things. I don't ever want to see them again, because it's their fault that now our family is broken. And then there's legal and custody battle issues where there could be such great contention, and one parent trying to skew the opinion of the other child just so that they can have custody can be so damaging to the kid and the relationship with the alienated parent. The adversarial nature of custody battles can really create an atmosphere where alienation occurs. And another reason is perpetuating the cycle. So in some cases, parents that alienate their children from the other parent have come from a family that there were alienated parents, and they may inadvertently repeat this cycle. They could be carrying unresolved trauma, and in this unresolved trauma make decisions and choices based on some of the hurts that they have experienced in order to do things that they think may be best but are extremely damaging to their children and the alienated parent. And then there's loss of control or fear of losing the child. In some cases, parents are so afraid they're going to lose their children that there's a manipulation set up. The fear of losing the kid can create a place where the fearful parent is manipulating the child in order to not lose them. And so, for example, as we spoke of before in the custody battle, they may encourage the kid to lie. It's important to note that alienation and estrangement are incredibly complex conditions. For parents of alienated children, it's absolutely unbearable to know that your child wants nothing to do with you, and they believe a great amount of lies about you, or they have been brainwashed into thinking that you're just a horrible, horrible person and want nothing to do with you. In some cases, adult children, due to parental alienation and other factors that have contributed to estrangement, decide not to include their family member, their parent, in very special occasions. They don't want them to be around their children. They continue this legacy of manipulation and anger by casting the parent out and kicking them to the curb indefinitely. Please get my ebook, Feeling Heartbroken and Alone, How to Pick Up the Pieces When You're Estranged. And if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button so you can get more teaching on this topic. See you in the next video.